The next 30 minutes, we will inform you on the newest addition on the solutions portfolio of Quint. We take a look at consulting in a box and we try to explain what it is and how it works, and the most important, how you can use it to strengthen your offer to your clients. First, before we start, I will give a short explanation about Quint. We are an independent consulting firm, and our portfolio is focused on providing consultancy and training aimed at IT-intensive processes. We were founded in the early 90s in the Netherlands, but nowadays we run a global operation covering almost all parts of the world. Our focus is mainly on sourcing, governance, IT service management, lean IT, agile, and DevOps. Quint has three business lines. Next to our consulting practice, our academy develops and delivers different IT management training courses, responding to the training needs of IT professionals nowadays. Quint Solutions offers a complete portfolio of training products and services and provide them to all kinds of training providers around the globe. So you heard me mention his name a few times already. Your presenter for today will be Frank Frambach. Frank is managing our Quint Solutions business line, and he is the spiritual father, so to say, of consulting in a box, and he is happy to explain to you the how and the why on this new solution. So Frank, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Jeroen. Thank you very much for the kind introduction and also for the nice title, Spiritual Father of this, which is true. I was the one who came up with this idea, and I saw what happened in the market and came up with the idea that I said we have to do something and fill a gap that we recognize and therefore mind the gap. And I'd like to tell you a little bit more today about consulting in a box. What we call is, in fact, education applied. Okay, why did I come up with consulting in a box, and why did we develop consulting in a box? So what's the driver behind it? One of the things that initiated this with me is kind of planted one of the seeds is I've been going to ITSMF conferences for quite a while now, and as a lot of people who know me know is that I've been in this industry for some almost 10 years now. And a thing that I've heard a lot is that people are not getting the value out of the training that they go to. And one of the people in our market who's very much a thought leader and an icon in our market is Paul Wilkinson from Gaming Works. And this is one of his, or a couple of his quotes. He says that 70 to 80% of the people don't get the value that they hope for from an ITSM investment, which is enormous high amount. They don't understand the business impact and the priority. And what I also found shocking is that less than 5% of over 15,000 ITIL adoptees who were questioned and surveyed actually know the definitions of important things like service value, outcome, cost, risk, and not even what needs to be done to achieve the results that they want to have for their organizations. So as I said, this is one of the things that triggered me very much. And I said, okay, looking at the market as how it's developing, combined with what we just heard, so okay, what we see in the market today is a couple of observations, and I'm sure that you will recognize one or more of them. We see that in many countries there is a big pressure on the price of courses. It's quite difficult for training providers to differentiate in the market where a lot of people are offering the same product. The perceived value of training is going down. Organizations find it difficult to achieve the results that they want to get out of training, so they send people to training. But as Paul also just said, not always do they get the results that they want. And it's also become like a phase in which candidates are getting a certificate, but not really creating a lot of value for their organizations. So IT professionals get sent to training, and we know that this happens a lot, but why actually? Well, it could be to improve their resume so that they get better opportunities on the job market, or they get sent there by their boss and they get drilled for a couple of days and then they go home with a certificate. But they pass the exam, get the certificate, but then what happens then? Do they just go back and do what they've always done? Or how do they go from there? And what we see is that the retention of knowledge is very much based upon the way that you acquire and maintain the knowledge. And we see that a training is very often about reading, hearing, maybe viewing a bit, but that's about it. And then if you see it's in the low end of the pyramid here, you retain 10, 20, and if you're lucky, 30% of what you've heard. Very few people actually participate in the activity or simulate the activity and actually do what they want to do with it. So that means that the knowledge retention, when you hear something and you get asked a question about the material you just heard about, your retention is obviously 100% because you just heard it. But 20 minutes later, research has shown that that already drops to just under 60%. So within 20 minutes, you've lost about 40% of what you've learned. An hour later, it goes to 44%, and it slightly goes down. Obviously, the first drop is the fastest. But after 31 days, let's say roughly a month, you've only retained about a fifth of what you learned in the first beginning. So after your course and you did the certificate, took the exam, got your certificate, a month later, 80% almost of that knowledge has evaporated if you do nothing with it. It's also proven, and survey has shown that if you constantly repeat, you will see that the knowledge retention gets better and better, and the loss of knowledge goes down. So in the end, people actually retain much more of the knowledge that they got in the first place. And let's go back. You will see that 70 to 80% don't get the value, and only less than 5% know these definitions. Why? Because after they did the exam, they didn't do anything with the material anymore. It just kind of faded out of their memory. But we do expect that they come up with new results after a training. And what Einstein said is insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So we keep on sending people to training, thinking that we're going to change something. But if we don't change the way we actually interact with them, how can we actually think that we're going to get better results? We want to break that circle. We call this the old way of working, and we want to introduce you to what we think is the new way. That is consulting in a box. So learning is experience. As we just saw, the experience was at the top of the pyramid, the broad end, you retain a lot. Everything else is just information. And I thought about this, and I thought back at the time that I took my driving lessons and my driving test. And what you learn during your driving lessons is you learn how to drive, and you have an instructor with you in the car, and then you do your test. And then after you've done your test, you drive alone for the first time, which is kind of scary. But that's actually when you start learning, by doing the stuff and actually acting and really being into the act of doing. So the passing of the test recognizes that you've mastered the skill and the knowledge, your theoretical test and your skills test, but the learning actually starts after that. So it's a continual circle of learn, engage, apply, grow, and then learn again and constantly grow and get better. And that's also what you see in the repetition, that over time, going through the circle, you will see that your knowledge and your skills actually become stronger, deeper and rooted, and stay longer. So just imagine if your training that you deliver to your candidates doesn't end when they leave the classroom. It extends after that. And just imagine if you could extend that training into their organization, therefore providing a much bigger service to your customers. And just imagine that the candidates who attend a course, after the course, can actually get help from fellow candidates supporting each other within or even outside their own organization. Sometimes we have classrooms filled with people from one organization, but it can also be an open enrollment with people from multiple organizations. Just imagine you have a network of peers that can now help each other. And just imagine that you can get help and that you could lean on support that actually helps you succeed in the tasks that you were set out to do. And just imagine that you could offer this to your market from now on. It would give you a whole new skill set and a whole new value in your offering. So that's what we mean with the bridging of the gap between education and implementation. We want to extend beyond the classroom and beyond just the certificate into the workplace of the candidate, the user, the IT professional. So the key drivers here are to enrich the training experience for the participants, but also to extend the course into the workplace, and also for a training provider to differentiate from the competition, create much more value. If you look at how it was before consulting in the box, it was a training, and that was it. People left the classroom, end of story. Now it starts to expand because you can offer the people, your candidates, a pre-read. They come to the training, then they get back on the job guidance, and they have a network with peers with whom they can communicate and get help from. If you look at the consulting process, basically what consulting in a box does is automate the consulting process, if you may. And within a consulting firm like Quint is, to begin discussing this was quite like, yeah, how shall I say, it was quite a challenge, because in the beginning it was hard to understand that you could actually automate consulting. Because if you look at the cycle, consulting very often is about problem definition. Then the consultant will do interviews within a company, come out with reports, and after months, you will see whether or not you're going to go into a process of actually doing a change in your organization. What we've done is we've shortened the process and made it a do-it-yourself process. So the candidate, the user, goes into the platform, chooses the topic that they want to do, goes through a questionnaire, an assessment, and immediately gets feedback in a dashboard and gets actionable results. So they can work on, they know what to do, and they get material to support how to do and what to do. This can lead to a lot of information, and anonymously in the background, big data is accumulated and shows you where you stand towards the rest of the world, fully anonymous, but it gives you feedback, and it leads you to be able to help yourself from there. So looking at what the tool looks like, the assessment itself, I call it a tool, but it's the assessment. This is a kind of a dashboard that you see, which is about the user himself or herself, in this case, himself. So it shows you who you as a user are, what your priorities that you have given are, what kind of improvement steps you have defined based upon the questions that you've done, the references that you have, but also what you see here on the top right hand, a profile. The tool looks at what kind of person you are, what kind of answers you give, and it profiles you into the kind of person that you are. Are you a shaper, an inspirator, a guardian, an administrator? And you know that there are several different types of people. You know, you have the people who initiate things and are inspirational, but very often those are the people who start something off, but not the people who finish stuff. Then you have the people who actually roll up their sleeves and get things done, but they don't necessarily have to be the inspirators. Well, in a good team, you have a mix of these people, and here you see what kind of person you actually are yourself. You go through a questionnaire, answer the questions, and you prioritize. So you can tell the system, well, I want to get all my priorities done within 6 months, and it's very high importance, low or medium importance for me per question. As you go through approximately 20 questions, per question you get an outcome, and the outcome tells you how to improve. You see it here on the right hand side. So the how to improve will give you outcomes, for instance, which team goals little gets accomplished, and it gives you a link to material. Now this material has been selected by Quint consultants, and a big part of it is material that we have developed ourselves over 25 years of consulting. The questions also come from real-life consulting assignments done with real customers, so it's all feedback from reality, and also content from reality. A part of it is also web-available content, and then obviously a critic could say, well, if it's available on the web, then I could find it myself, sure. But in a lot of cases, if you enter a question, for instance, how do I set up a help desk, you could get like 2 million or 20 million hits. Which one of these are actually going to help you? Well, Consulting in the Box takes the mix of all the questions and all the answers you've given, and based upon that will give you the tailor-made documents, handles to actually be able to do what you need to do. So looking at this, for participants, it means that you get a lot of information, and I'm not going to read all of them out, but look at it, it's magazine articles, it's white papers, it's all kind of stuff. But also for partners, there's a lot of information in it. It's like training checklists, do's and don't do's, pricing configurators, and the tool is just being expanded as we go along. There's also information in there about the authors, so who developed the assessment, who was the manager of the content, and as I said, you know, the content has been gathered by Quint consultants from around the world, but there is one person responsible for the overall content and the quality of the content, and you can also see who the author is, name, face, resume, so you can see the question and the quality of the person actually putting it all together. Then looking back at what we saw, this is the same pyramid, but just the other way around. So read it the same. But again, what you see here at the bottom of the pyramid, 90% of what we say and do remains by doing, activating, participating, and doing the real thing. That's how you hang on to knowledge and retain knowledge. So that's also why consulting in a box is about actually doing what you learned during the course. So why is Quint so unique? You know, what makes that we would develop this? Jeroen also said something about it in the intro. 25 years of consulting expertise with a lot of thought leadership. Also very important is that Quint wants to share knowledge. You see that we've started the Lean IT Association, started the DevOps Agile Skills Association, all with market parties together to not do this alone, not make it proprietary, but to share with the market. And that's also why we're sharing with our partners, with the network, the expertise that we have. The proven track record, and I'll show you a little bit more about that in a second. A lot of subject matter expertise with over 200 consultants worldwide, a global presence, so we also know cultural differences and we have input from around the world. And apart from that, Through Solutions, a global partner network with partners representing many countries of the world. So these are a number of the areas that we're active in. You see IT service management, obviously big. Sourcing is very important. Lean, Agile, DevOps is important. So these are areas that we're active in as consulting. And as I said, we share, and this is just an idea of a number of ways that we share, like publications, like best practice database, but also webinars that we do on a very regular basis. Talking about the installed base, this is just an overview of some of the clients that we've been very successfully consulting with. And as you can see, they're from around the globe, all kind of organizations in all kind of branches. So the key is about empowering IT and maximizing business value. And what we see there is that within our clients, business value and IT have come very close to each other. It's almost like there is no line between them anymore. IT is the business. Therefore, the skills of the people we train around the world, they are so close to the business. And therefore, consulting in a box, bridging the gap between the education and the implementation, helping IT, helping business. So this is something we'll be offering to our partners, our training providers, and our aim is for our partners to help them differentiate in the market, to really add value and to stand out from the crowd. The satisfaction, customer value is the key. So what does it mean for you as a training provider? You can now show yourself as being much more than the rest of the market. You're above the standard because you now offer something that will actually help your candidates be successful. It changes your market because up till today, everybody offered a similar kind of course for a similar product. And yes, some people had better trainers than others maybe, or some people spent a little bit more time on some topics than others. But now you're actually extending the training into the workplace for your customers. So as a training provider, you benefit by differentiating from your competition. You add a lot of value for your candidates. It makes you competitive because you're offering something that is unparalleled in the market. You don't have to talk about price anymore because it's about value. You now are offering something that has so much more value, and you gain recognition for the value. And you can grow your business now into new areas. Looking at your customers, how they will benefit, because the training becomes more than a certificate. And what we will do is, we already did that in the website that we've developed, we're aiming the different areas in your in your customer network, like the HR manager or the procurement manager. Why do you send people to training, and what do you expect from them? So there is much more value for your customers, and therefore you can stand out again on that way. You saw it in the invitation we sent out, Consulting in a Box. The next steps, ITIL courseware for free. Why? Yes, we're doing it. We're offering it for free because we think that the future is in the value that you offer. So it's not about whether Quint's ITIL courseware is $1 or $2 or euros more expensive or cheaper than the other. No, we're going to give you the courseware for free as a part of the assessment tool, because in the end, we think that the value that you can offer is in the assessment, and that is part of the total value that you offer to your customer. So looking at that, what is the real actual product that we're offering to our partners as of today? The first level available immediately is called Consulting in a Box, the do-it-yourself version, including foundation courseware and the self-assessment tool with all the supporting content, the full enrichment for you to offer to your market. The next steps that we already have in mind that we're going to roll out hopefully further this year, the first level above level 1 will be level 2, and that is all that you have in level 1 plus 3 times 1 hour of online support by a consultant. Now that can be a Quint consultant if you don't have your own, but you could obviously, if you have your own consultants, you could use and leverage your own consultants to consult to your customers, and again, adding more value. Then the next value level that we want to go to is what we call coached. It's 2 half-day sessions on top of the level 1 that we have. So those are the steps of progression that we want to go into the future. Okay, so how do we at Quint help you make Consulting in a Box a success for your market? Well, I mentioned the website already. We created a website called consultinginabox.com, and on the website we'll have a partner page. Now you see a number of names of partners that we've talked to about. There will be a select number of partners that will be able to offer this to the market, and if we agree with you that you are one of our partners, you will have your name on that partner page, and the candidates looking for it will see your name in your region, click on it, and go to your landing page. To create your landing page and support your website, we have a marketing kit available in which we give you graphics, text, brochures, everything you need to offer this to your market. And parallel, we will be marketing to the network, to the market, explaining to them why there is value in this and what they need to look at for it, and refer to our partners for this. And as I said, we'll target this also at specific audiences like the HR managers, the business managers, procurement, so that they understand when they want to have people trained why they should choose a training provider offering consulting in a box over the rest of the market. So I hope this has been interesting for you so far and you're really excited and want to get started today. So how can you? Well, it's easy. You can contact either me via my mobile or my email, or the Quint contact person that you have in your region. As you know, we have a lot of Quint contacts around the world, but if you're not sure who or what, feel free to contact me and I will divert you directly to the right person. You'll receive a follow-up mail after this session, a couple of days, and then we will also send you a link to this session, which is recorded, so that you can revisit it and listen to it again if you would like to. And we'll also invite you for a follow-up session, which is going to be on February 16th, in which we'll do an in-depth demo of the Consulting in a Box tool itself. So we'll go through the assessment. I only showed you some highlights today, simply because of time, but we will go deep into the content there and show you exactly what it looks like. When we talk to you, and if you're interested in offering this, we will talk about pricing. We will also talk about a self-study, or how should I say, a key, so that you can give it a self-test and work with it.
So thank you, Frank, for your time and your presentation.
Thank you, and I would like to also thank all the attendees. And I was just looking at the question box, and also some very positive comments coming back about congratulations about what they've seen. So thank you also for your warm compliments. I really appreciate it, and we really appreciate your being here today with us.